If you have a victory so narrow that is virtually below a percentage point, then the possibility that there was a miscount or the system malfunctioned is more believable than is most other cases in Africa. And many people have already started comparing the Kenyan case with the United States case of Bush versus Gore, which went to the Supreme Court, and in the end, it was resolved by the Supreme Court. So when you have a victory so narrow, my Nigerian friend will agree that the possibility of a miscount or a malfunctioning of the system should be taken seriously and should be entrusted to an independent judiciary to resolve the issue.
What about you, Regina?
Yeah, unfortunately, I do not agree with distinguished Professor Mazuri, who I respect profoundly, because we're not looking at a percentage point here. We are looking at a difference of 800,000 votes.
Right.
So I consider that to be a large margin where every vote counts. And also, without going into the details of how the Kenya election system worked this time, it's true that the electronic system failed.
Mm-hmm.
And when the electronic system failed, the electoral body had to switch to the manual system.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the way the manual system works, every polling station would be presided over by a presiding officer. That's the officer of the electoral body who would oversee the elections.
Mm-hmm.
At the same polling stations across the country, there would be agents of each political party and each coalition, such that there was a Quad agent,
Mm-hmm.
Quad Alliance agent, and Jubilee coalition agent and other parties agent at the polling station. And once the votes are counted at the polling station, the presiding officer would enter the number of votes, the number of spoiled votes, in the presence of the agents from all these political parties.
Mm-hmm.
And then the agents of the political parties would sign off on the form. It's called Form 36A.
Mm-hmm.
So they would sign off to attest that the votes were counted properly at the polling station. Now that Form 36A, which was completed by the presiding officer and signed off on by agents from all the political parties that were present at each polling station, would then be handed over to the IEBC. And this is what the electoral body used to tally the votes.
You talk about how the gap between Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga is so huge. In fact, you are talking about very close to 1 million.
Right.
But to what extent does that really matter if, in fact, the magic number is supposed to be 50% plus 1? You could even have beaten the second person by 1 million votes. So long as you do not cross that line, it really doesn't matter.
It does not matter.
And the difference here, we are talking about 8,400 votes, correct?
800,000.
No. 8,400 above 50%.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
That's the magic number.
The magic number
Otherwise,
is...
you go in second round.
It's 50% plus 1 vote.
Correct.
That is, it's not
Correct.
51%.
No, 50%, I think I would like to say
50% plus
one
vote.
Got it.
Not to mention, it's been noted that if you added up all the spoiled votes and the votes that went to all the other presidential aspirants, and you gave them to Raila Odinga, he still would not beat Uhuru.
You still will not beat Uhuru?
No.